Hello, my name is David Sand, CEO of Uwin Iwin International. Welcome to another version of the Uwin Iwin Breakfast Show. Today I have a very special guest in studio with me, Deepak Nachnani, who is the co-founder of the Avniro Group, building a conglomerate of digital SaaS businesses. He is also a Marshall Goldsmith 100 Coaches member. Deepak, welcome to the show.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Good morning to everybody. And it's a pleasure to be here on your show, David.
Thank you so much for making the journey from Mumbai, India, to come and join us on the 30th year celebration that we had on Friday. Spend a bit of time with me in the bush, and to be here for the HR Summit in Santon tomorrow.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and I'm still recovering from the weekend. So thank you for being a gracious host, and we had a wonderful time being here.
That was a very short intro that I did, but you have a tremendous bio. Would you mind introducing yourself a little bit? And please don't be modest. Tell us the stories of where you've been in the world and what you've been up to.
I'm a little uncomfortable talking too much about myself, so I'll try to be as elaborate as I can.
Okay.
But you celebrated your 30th birthday for the anniversary. This is my 30th country I've been to. So I was kind of what you call a global bum, yes. A corporate mercenary, an expat for about 15 years, working for New York companies, fixing various issues across in the far reaches of their empires. And I was traveling 70% of the time and wanted to do something different. So I called up my best buddy, my co-founder, Nan, and said, hey, would you want to do something about like the future? He said, of course, with you. So in 10 minutes, we had an agreement in place and started the journey in 2015. And the vision was very simple. Whatever we built has to be large scale. So, and we put a simple vision out there saying by 2030, one of us is caught at a small Caribbean airport. 2 out of 3 people, strangers we talked to there, should have either used or heard about our products. So that was a simple vision, just to blanket the planet on it. And we started looking for opportunities. And of course, we wanted to do something in AI, but I think we were looking for human capital management platforms and couldn't find anything that was to our liking, so we started building that too. So today we have a multi-product set of platforms, and I think I'd rather talk about what those platforms have achieved later down than my qualifications. I mean, yeah, I'm a Marshall Goldsmith 100 Coaches, global coaches, but I'd rather talk about the Cody Awards that the platforms have won, okay. Which is kind of the Oscars in our industry. So I think my pride shows through the kids, yes. And these platforms are my kids, and I'm very proud of them. So yes. I'd prefer talking about them more
Absolutely.
Than just about myself.
So you mentioned Cody. Now, I'm kind of familiar with it, but not really. What is the Cody Awards?
So Cody is like, you've heard about the Oscars, right?
Yes.
The film fraternity and the way that the Oscars are adjudicated. So it's the film fraternity that votes among a short list of candidates as to who's the best of the breed. Cody is something similar. It is adjudicated by the Software Industry Association of America, SIAA, and it's a conglomeration of about roughly 3,000 CXOs globally. And every year there are categories like you have at the Oscars, and they adjudicate who's the best in that category. Right. And that's kind of from a pride equation and Oscars in our industry. And actually the Washington Post and the LA Times do call it the Oscars of the software industry. So similar format, San Francisco, red carpets. Instead of evening gowns, you'll find shorts and sandals from the Silicon Valley crowd. Yes. And it's pretty competitive. So our category had 54 finalists, and we won the best. Wow. In our first attempt, which was kind of a very big eye-opener that, yeah, we're on to something big. So we've made a movie that's kind of cutting its weight in merit, and now let's start selling tickets for more people to watch this movie. That was circa 2019, so we've been at it about 4 years now after winning the Oscars.
So that was for the PeopleHum platform, right?
Yes.
Okay. So PeopleHum has partnered with Uwin Iwin in South Africa.
Absolutely.
And we're very proud about that. So thank you for that privilege. And we've really been only going at it together in South Africa for a year. And I think we've made some nice early stage wins and impact. Tell us a little bit about the growth of the platform to date worldwide, and what your vision is for Africa.
That's a great question, David. And I would say growth is, I consider growth as running on a treadmill. And like the speed you run at. So last year we were running at around 8 kilometers per hour. This year it's about 11 to 12. I think we designed the organization with all the services support around it for +2. So if you're running at 11, you got to be at a +13 on a treadmill pace. So growth has been phenomenal. I think we're doubling every year. We are in 76 countries right now that we sell to. Africa, I think Africa is one of the most exciting things that has happened. So we're not just bipolar, which is Asia and Americas, because everybody needs software. So Africa is our fastest growing continent at this point in time. And we have some marquee brands in Africa, Proto Energy in Kenya, Green Africa, the newest airline out of Nigeria, a lot of banks. We're signing up with insurance companies, chemical companies. So Africa is becoming one of our, I think the second largest pie of our portfolio. Wow. And we're investing a lot in Africa and working with like partners who know the lay of the land and complement our services and our product set. So Uwin Iwin is a perfect fit on that. It has a marquee platinum name, and we're looking forward to integrating and working closely together strategically on your understanding of Africa and how we can complement yours while introducing you across the markets we are growing our presence to. So I think it's a win-win partnership. And as you said, you win, I win. That's the perspective we're looking for in our approach to Africa at this point in time.
Yeah, we certainly have a Pan-African vision for what we do as Uwin Iwin, clients across the continent. And as we work in those different spaces, we're learning and growing and building relationships with customer base. So I think it's a wonderful fit, and I believe we're going to see great things into the future. So tell us a little bit about the current trends in the HR world that PeopleHum is addressing and solving for customers.
That's a reason to be kind of question.
Yes.
And I think about that a lot because we do have to lay out the vision for the global teams to follow. So a couple of perspectives. What's coming down the pike and what are the pain points from the past that you have to fix. So AI is here, right? I mean, there's no denying it. Is AI going to change the world? Yes. Coupled with that, besides the AI part of it, the rate of change in marketplaces, in businesses, in digital, e-commerce has accelerated, right? So there's a concept that Bain has called mean time between change. And successful organizations have mean time between response lesser than mean time between change. It's very difficult to keep up with that metric at this point in time. So change is inevitable. AI is here. The projections are wild to conservative. The conservative part is how do you monetize AI? And the wild ones are 80% of today's jobs are going to be AI'd, as they call it. So that's the reality that we are facing. Whatever the percentage is in, it might land up somewhere midway there. But change is real, right? And I think since Henry Ford, which is about 125 years back, organizations have struggled bridging the trust gap that has existed between employee and employer. It still is not up to mark. And all scientific studies show that productivity boost would be 40% to where we are if we really crack that trust bridge. Now, trust is about transparency, right? A few bad actors spoil it for all and it becomes a policy. So how do you kind of identify at the unit level what are the bad actors? How do you build trust overall? And how do you make it transparent? Because that's the only way to build trust. If you know everything about me, then there's no place to hide. And the employee and the employer, it's all transparent on the table. And technology can help in a major way to do that. Mm-hmm. So at the strategic level, we call our philosophy TCO. So TCO is trust. T is trust in TCO. Building that trust bridge with transparency, and the platform allows you to have that transparency as such. C is change, and we call it our evolve methodology, where you would need to evolve to face what's coming up in the future itself, right? And O is a kind of a major pain point that existed, which is one view. So there are two primary enterprise platforms that every organization needs. One is on the CRM side and one is on the human capital management side. Unfortunately, most organizations focus a lot more on the CRM side than the human side, the human capital side, but one drives the other, right? A happy employee leads to a happy customer. Yes. But they forget the happy employee part, they just want the happy customer. So we focused on the enabling part of the platform. Unfortunately, the mix that is there requires you to connect 12 different technologies together or different platforms that refuse to talk to each other, yes. Right? And it becomes a major headache at the enterprise level, getting one sense of view of my employee set. So we've designed the whole platform around the employee. So as a one view around the employee is where we target. The secondary aspects or the operational aspects that we kind of utilize are called MSU. So migration onto the platform. So you pay subscriptions of major kind of US-centric platforms. Let's say you're a 5,000 employee organization, you're paying $500,000 of subscriptions, and you have to get consultants and pay them $4 million to migrate stuff onto your platform. And it takes 18 months to 24 months to do that. Yeah. That defeats the purpose. I mean, by the time you've migrated onto this platform, the technology is old already. It's moving so fast. And the organization's exhausted. And the CHRO has changed, the CTO is new, and then you reset. Yes. So you got to get speed in that migration path, and that's what we focus. So our principle is any organization with less than 1,000 people should take no more than 4 weeks to migrate in. So we're setting that benchmark for our customers, right? The S part of it is support and scale. So HR tech was pretty much what we call, I wouldn't say Mickey Mouse tech, but less than robust, scalable tech, right? So we took the path of being Java only and scale, and we are scale specialists. So some of our concurrent platforms do 20 million in our other companies. So having that scale provides you kind of longevity for the next 2 or 3 decades at least. And you're not struggling investing in a platform that's going to keel over when 6,000 people hit the platform together in a cloud. And the U part is utilization. The industry metrics for that was 1 access point a week per employee. Yep. We are at 14 today across our platform set. So 14 times what the average benchmark was. So that's how we define our vision and what we are trying to do and our growth characteristics in the path. So I mentioned what's in the future, the trust and the change part of it, and then the one view and all other pain points of the past. So it's kind of a 2-part view that we solve strategically as well as operationally.
Yeah. We first came on as a customer of the platform, and then we developed a partnership. And I must say, as a small to medium-sized business, it was of doing market research and due diligence. It looked absolutely spectacular in comparison to the other. So the user interface side of your product looked great. And as a business decision, the price points were also very attractive. Then on implementation, I must say, I did the implementation myself because I just didn't have other HR bandwidth to do it. And it was so simple, and your call centers were so supportive. And the way you've set up the learning modules in your different YouTube video type of support was absolutely fantastic. So I must compliment you. And that was then the stimulus for me to want to become partnered with you and to see how we could offer that to other businesses in Africa, because it certainly is an incredibly enabling product, and well done to that.
Thank you so very much, and we're grateful to have organizations like yours trusting our platform itself today. And it's wonderful to hear such feedback come through, because all the work that goes on in the background to set it up seems to resonate with somebody who's looking at it. And I think thanks to those kind of efforts on support engineering and responsiveness that we do, I think our referral rate right now is 40%. So 40% of our new customers are coming through referral. And that, I think, in our roadmap path, we have arrived at like 4 years before plan to get to that kind of level. So I really appreciate the words that you said. You have a great team, and your aspects of business are global too and expanding. And it is an organization that's still coming out of the pandemic remote work kind of setup, and you still have a hybrid work setup. So I'm glad to hear such cases around the world where the platform is able to help clock in, clock outs, and those kind of things, as far as leaves attendance from the basic to performance management at the highest level, and including the automation frameworks that our platform offers you, that you mentioned in our conversation. So really grateful to be in South Africa and partnering with somebody with a blue blood name like Uwin Iwin.
My final question, I've been involved in building tech to support our customer value proposition since 1999. You've been involved in tech of all sorts across your career. Now that you're an entrepreneur building tech-related businesses, what has that taught you as a leader? What are some of the nuggets that you can share with our audience?
There's a Chinese proverb, and it's a positive proverb. As a blessing, they say, may you live in interesting times. I think that proverb is true if you look at it positively. Yes. We do live in very interesting times. Now, you could either sink below the waves and blame nature for it, or you can ride the waves. So those are the two choices. I think we prefer to ride the waves. Sleep is a struggle as an entrepreneur. Yes. Trust is a premium as an entrepreneur. Corporate life teaches you about 30% of what you need as an entrepreneur. I have a postgraduate degree. Probably academics are becoming less and less relevant. I mean, I went to a top business school in the world, probably set me up 20-25% of the theoretical knowledge I would need. I think stay nimble, stay hungry are the two things I'll advise any entrepreneur. And tech is moving too fast. So we have a AI company too. So PeopleHum is well set in its evolutionary cycle with our expertise in AI too. So we're building the enablement, automation, intelligence kind of evolution around it. The other aspect I also would like to focus on in this journey. I've been at it 10 years, you've been at it 30 plus years, David, so you should have at least 3 times more learnings than I do. But it's not the stay hungry, stay foolish, stay curious. I mean, my struggle is not finding the right answer. My struggle remains asking the right question, always. And if you hit the right question, you'll find people to give you the answers. Yes. And now ChatGPT and all those technologies are there. So there's a culmination of all the knowledge in the world that will provide some kind of answer for you. But like, if you like look at people like Elon Musk, what do you think Elon Musk is doing? He's not a rocket engineer, but he's building SpaceX. He's not an automobile engineer, but he's building Tesla. He talks about this concept of dots connect at the back. I think what he's doing is asking the right question. Like, can I retrieve rockets from space? Can I build a sports car that runs on electricity? Can I connect two cities underground? So those are the questions that change lifetimes.
Yes.
And it's a lifetime of perfecting the art of asking the right question. And I still keep asking the right question. I mean, it's gone beyond asking, am I on the right path? How do I create the path ahead of me is more the question that matters to me at this point. So that's kind of one of the biggest learnings when you're in the driver's seat. It is scary at times. It is a roller coaster ride, but it has its thrills. And as long as you get up early in the morning to take on a new day and a new world, I think you'll just do well.
Thank you. Thank you for that advice, and I'm sure the many entrepreneurs that do watch the breakfast show will take something of great value out of that.
Thank you very much, David.
Thank you for joining another version of the Uwin Iwin Breakfast Show. Please leave your comments below on whatever channel you're watching this snippet. We appreciate your feedback and engagement. And of course, we're always looking to connect with new customers. So if you're a customer that has an HR issue or a need to improve performance through sales or a recognition and reward program that you'd like us to help you with, please reach out to us. We would love to engage in a conversation of how we can support you. So keep winning, and thank you for listening to the show.